Russia's invasion has not only destabilized Ukraine, but has also kept Denmark on the qui-vive. Europe is on tenterhooks as Russian forces escalate attacks in eastern Ukraine. European countries are bracing themselves in the event of a Russian strike. Denmark's neighboring countries, Finland and Sweden, have already applied to join NATO. Denmark, though being a NATO member since 1949, has remained on the sidelines when it comes to taking an active defense posture. But now it's making a shift from its unusual position. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes how Russian aggression in Ukraine has pushed Denmark to the European security framework. Let's get into the details. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. NordVPN is a premium VPN service available for macOS, iOS, Windows, and Android with more than 5,400 servers in 60 countries. But why use a VPN or virtual private network? VPN is an encrypted tunnel. A VPN can protect your privacy, which is threatened by many factors like data logging by internet service providers. It can also help you access contents which are blocked based on geolocation. Why NordVPN? Its servers are fast and has zero log policy. Not only this, NordVPN has taken one step further and recently introduced a new feature, Threat Protection. Threat Protection prevents malware from getting on users' devices and blocks trackers, intrusive and malicious ads, and harmful websites. Use the link in the description to get up to 71% off the 2-year plan plus threat protection for no extra cost. At the checkout, use the code DEFENSE to get an extra month for free. Denmark has kept itself aloof for 3 decades from the European Union. All 26 EU members accept its defense policies except Denmark. Denmark does not send its troops to go on joint EU military missions, nor does it play any part in the EU's defense discussions. However, now Denmark wants to turn a new leaf. It wants to join the Europe Security Framework. A historic referendum took place where the Danish government put its defense opt-out to vote. The Danish citizens voted on whether their country should have a deeper involvement in the EU or not. There was a consensus among most political parties of Denmark. 11 out of 14 wanted to join the EU framework. Danish leaders had argued the regional security situation has changed, and that called for Denmark to work more closely with the EU on defense issues. I believe with all my heart that we have to vote yes, Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said during a televised debate earlier. At a time when we need to fight for security in Europe, we need to be more united with our neighbors. The outcome is a yes vote, with 66.9% of voters approving it. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen said the result of the referendum sent a very important signal to our allies in Europe and NATO and to Putin. Naturally, this is not happy news for Russia, and it's made its discontent quite clear. Moscow has withdrawn its supply of gas to one Danish company. The move hasn't yet disrupted supplies in Denmark. Joining the European framework will allow Danish forces to participate in joint EU military training, develop and acquire more military hardware with the EU, and have sway over Europe's overall defense policy. The Danish military was created in 1510. They're one of the oldest armed forces and have fought many significant battles, viz. The 30-Year War in the Roman Empire between 1618 and 1648, the Great Northern War between 1700 and 1721, and the Napoleonic Wars from 1803 to 1815. Now Denmark is preparing to take on Russia if the need arises. Copenhagen is also implementing a significant shift in its budget. In March 2022, according to the country's defense budget, it set aside $1 billion to be spent on the country's military in the next 2 years. In the next decade, the Nordic country intends to increase its defense spending to 2% of its GDP by 2033. This is not the only thing on Denmark's plate right now. It's also contemplating on another issue at hand, whether to allow American soldiers to be stationed in Denmark. Discussion in this regard began in February. With Denmark's nod, U.S. troops will set foot on Danish soil, train and conduct exercises in Denmark. It will be of paramount importance and have an immense political impact, more so because Denmark has never allowed any foreign country on its soil since the 1950s. This was done in an attempt to appease the Soviet Union. However, now its stance looks different. The invasion of Ukraine has changed everything. It aims to become independent of Russia's natural gas at the earliest and will not shy away from facing Russia. Finland and Sweden are concerned about a Russian invasion too, and that would pose a threat to Denmark's security as well. So they're strengthening their armed forces and deepening their ties with the EU. The ruling Social Democrats' defense spokesperson, Mogens Jensen, said, "NATO will, of course, remain our most important tool, but the EU gives us another in securing our defense in the East." It's clear that Sweden and Finland's application to become members of NATO, as well as Denmark's willingness to join the security framework, are outcomes of Russia's invasion. In the present atmosphere of turmoil, it's imperative for smaller European states around the Baltic, Arctic, and the Black Seas to quit sitting on the fence and fully be a part of the EU security architecture. Once peaceful, they're now potential flashpoints. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has shaken Europe up and exposed the many chinks in its armor, and it's now gearing up to protect itself. Ms. Fredrickson said, "We're showing that when Putin invades a free country and threatens the stability in Europe, we others pull together. When freedom knocks on Europe's door and it's war again on our continent, you cannot be neutral. We support Ukraine and the Ukrainian people." All said and done, another struggle with Russia seems to be ahead for Europe, and that's reaching an inflection point. It remains to be seen how well Europe responds to the changing dynamics.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.